This episode of the Star Wars Battlefront podcast is brought to you by Rage Start, our new podcast network, dedicated to completely video game podcasts. Our three newest shows are Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox Update. Check those out in the description below.
Pick your class and
earn your battle points.
Because it's time for the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. Welcome to episode 141 of the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, joined by my brother and co-host, Sam Goodwin.
I love that.
In this episode, we'll be going over the Han Solo Season Part 2 and the announcements made at EA Play.
Let's get started.
So the second part of the Han Solo season is out. It brings 4 new appearances for Han and Lando.
For Hando.
Hashtag Hando for life. It's based all around a Solo, a Star Wars story. It also brings, actually it came with 5 skins.
Because they had the Chewbacca skin.
They have the Chewbacca skin, which is so, not that great. I forgot about it.
What is the price for it?
I don't know because I have no interest in it. But 2 of the skins for Han and Lando, one is 80,000 for Han, and the other is 40,000, I believe.
So you have the Han Solo, the Alden Ehrenreich skin?
Alden Ehrenreich, yeah.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, both are 2 different skins for it.
You just have the classic Han Solo, and then you have the Corellia Escape Han Solo.
Then on Lando, you have the Donald Glover Lando. The legendary is him in his gambling suit at the end of the movie. And the second is his all-around Lando skin that he has throughout the movie. One is legendary and one is not. One is an epic. But it's not just skins brought in this update.
We also got another port.
Port.
Yeah, Extraction was in the original Battlefront stage.
But it was a very different game mode.
Not too different.
Well, there's no heroes in it. Let's break down Extraction in Star Wars Battlefront 2 by going back to Battlefront 2015. And Battlefront 2015 and the Outer Rim DLC. It's the first DLC launched for the game. They brought the first iteration that we've come to know of Extraction. And it was able to be played on the Sullust map, brought in the DLC, as well as Jabba's Palace, which was also brought in the DLC. That game mode pits Rebels versus Empire, where the Rebels are trying to transport a shipment of unknown content. Get it out of either Jabba's Palace or out of Sullust. And as the Empire, you're trying to stop them by stopping that transport.
So it's kind of similar to the Overwatch game mode where you're escorting the payload.
Yes, very much. And you have to get from one point to the next point to the next point to get out of each.
And throughout the map, there's checkpoints. So once you hit a checkpoint, it can't go back any further.
Yes.
Because in the original 2015 Battlefront, if you didn't keep escorting the cargo and the Imperials had more people on it, it would go back.
Yes, it would. In Battlefront 2, they have brought Extraction to the game, playable on the same map, Jabba's Palace. The map was transported over to the game with the last update. There's also a new map, which is the Mines of Kessel, which I just think fits perfectly with the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, the game mode does make sense. But the thing is that this whole season has just been a port from the Outer Rim DLC. We get Jabba's Palace, and we get the Extraction game mode that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing technically we got new was the map and the skins. We didn't get a game mode that we've been wanting for because we haven't even had, since Ewok Hunt the LTOs, any original good game modes.
For those not up to date on game lingo, that is limited time game mode. What?
Limited time only.
Limited time only. The LTO game modes. Sam, see, you're part of that master race of using letters instead of words, right?
I think that's called an acronym, Sage.
Yes, A for short. Yeah, we didn't get any heroes. We just got skins for the heroes we already had.
I will say that the skins were the kind of thing I'm wanting from skins, is to have different appearances for the same character.
Yes.
Because so far we just had the generic Han face just reskinned, so it's cool to see different differences.
Yes. With the legendary skins, you also get some new voice work, which is actually pretty crappy. The person who voiced Solo as Alden Ehrenreich isn't actually Alden Ehrenreich in the game. It's someone that they hired that kind of sounds like him. But for Lando, not that much. It doesn't sound like Donald Glover or
again,
Billy D.
Every voice in the game is someone else.
John Boyega actually voices Finn.
Except John Boyega. I even think Billy D. Williams did some voices, right?
Billy D. Williams actually did Lando. Yes, so Billy D. Williams and Finn. I was kind of hoping for something like this, a season that wasn't full of a lot of content that would draw them away from the next thing. And the next thing is actually huge news at EA Play. Get into that a little bit. At EA Play, they announced 2 things for Star Wars. Overall, EA Play was kind of meh. But for Star Wars, Respawn's game has a name now. That name is Jedi Fallen Order. And it takes place
Isn't it after episode 3?
Between episodes 3 and 4. So during that time span, and its focus is on lightsaber wielders.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's the only thing. He just said they were making it, so we probably won't even hear anything from the next EA Play.
Next EA Play, I think we will, because it's coming out next year.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully we'll see some gameplay next year.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it won't be canceled.
Yeah, like the other one was.
But on the Battlefront, we got some big news. Anakin, Grievous, Obi-Wan, and Count Dooku are going to be the heroes and villains for the Clone Wars season.
Clone Wars, we're finally getting it. This will be the 3rd season since launch.
Yeah, season 3.
First one was a decent start. Second one sucks. Third one, hopefully we'll get some good stuff. I mean, it's fair that they had to do the movie seasons because they were just so close together. They couldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, and they're taking an approach of we're going to put something out for this season because we've already announced it, and we're going to do a half season. It's more of like a monthly update more than anything.
Yeah.
Because it brings a game mode, it brings a map, and it brings skins. So that's more, I would call that a monthly update for content.
Yeah, it's definitely not a season. It doesn't feel like a season. Even though it's being thought of as a season and advertised as a season.
Mm-hmm. There aren't any like goals that you really are pushed to do or anything like that.
And it's not like they didn't have the time because the Last Jedi was like 4 months ago.
December. It was 6 months ago.
6 months ago. I mean, even in the original Battlefront, we'd already have 2 DLCs by now.
Yeah.
And those are really in depth and had heroes and original game modes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, we've had things to tie us over like the Ewok hunt, rocket, jetpack cargo, and some of the skin updates, but I mean, 6 months, and we get this. It's just kind of unacceptable.
I think it's okay. Now I understand why.
You're telling me we wait 6 months to get a map ported from the old game, and Extraction, which is an old game, ported. The only new thing that we get of substance is the map. The skins, they don't add any. They don't add any in-game. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't change anything in game. It's just a skin.
If I were them, I would have done the same thing, except I would have been much more upfront, and I wouldn't have called it a season. I would have called it a monthly update.
Because the thing is, the game started. They always bring themselves back from their mistakes, and then they just let the fans down again, just like a roller coaster. I mean, the consistency is just non-existent.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be. I don't hate the game. I love the game. It's super fun. I still enjoy playing it. It's just like they've constantly let us down so far, and we need a good season. A season, not some crappy update. I know they have been overhauling the progression system and fixing their mistakes, but that's the key. The key word there is mistake. Who makes mistakes? Did I make a mistake? No, they made a mistake. And them fixing it is no excuse for them not getting content.
It is when they have to spend manpowers. What happened was they thought that they had everything ready to go, and they thought they were going to jump out of the gate roaring. And what they did was they jumped, and then they fell flat on their face. And the whole time that Battlefront has been released, they've been trying to get back up and on their feet. And
they just need to try spinning. That's a really good trick.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
I think they've finally gotten back to their feet, and the creation of the solo season was when they were still on their fours.
If anything, they fell -5 at the start of the game, and then they came back to 0. So they're back at the base level.
Yes.
If anything.
This is the beginning.
We're 6 months into the game, and this is the beginning.
Exactly, yes. They overestimated how well they did with certain systems.
They just shouldn't have overestimated the power. You overestimate my power. Okay, that's another prequel
That's
reference.
the opposite. Anakin says you underestimate my power, Sam.
But they overestimated, so it works. They should have just got the high ground.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Yeah. I think their base level, if anything, if they keep going lower, I mean, they can't really go any lower than this right now.
I like the content added in the solo season. I just don't think it was what they marketed it as.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not really good. It's literally just average, kind of lackluster. I mean, I was looking forward to the solo season because I was looking for a game mode. That's different. I understand Extraction works for the movie, but considering you just ported a map over part of your content, it doesn't look good.
See, I think that's the thing that's getting you hung up.
I mean, I'm completely fine with importing at least one thing, but when the whole season is just a port, that's where it gets kind of iffy. If anything, they should have added these game modes at the base to where they wouldn't have this problem down the line. And I guess it's probably because they've been just working so hard on the progression system and all of those that they're kind of like, okay, we need to get a season out real quick. We have this game mode.
That's exactly what this is. This is the season that's going to tide them over until the big thing. I
hope that's the case.
It is the case because let's get into this right now. So at EA Play, they announced the season 3, which is all around the Clone Wars, which is what everyone's been wanting. It's what you've been griping about.
This is season 1. We haven't even had any good seasons so far. This is the start, guys. Let's just restart Battlefront.
I think that's what they're doing.
That's what they're trying to do.
And on their post it says, quote, "A love for Star Wars and a passion for amazing games has always been at the heart of the DICE team behind Star Wars Battlefront 2. With the game launch, we had tripled the amount of content compared to its predecessor, spanning 3 Star Wars eras.
Hey, if they had triple the content, why are they porting stuff?
We set out to unite the player base by removing Season Pass. We provided an original story campaign.
And instead, we don't even add seasons.
Shut up, Sam. We provided an original story campaign focused on Iden Versio and the Inferno Squad. The reality, though, is that the launch of the game did not go as we planned. As a result, we spent a lot of time and effort going back to make essential changes."
I understand that.
I like how they actually addressed their whole problems. They're like, well, we did all these things and they're great, and I don't know what you're all griping about. They say, hey, it didn't go as planned. We made mistakes, and we spent a lot of time and effort going back and fixing those things. Quote, "In March this year, we introduced the overhauled linear progression update to our players. In April, players were able to spend in-game credits or crystals for cosmetic appearances. Along with this, we updated the game with additional maps, appearances, fixes, and modes, including the fan-favorite Ewok Hunt. And in May, we launched the Han Solo season, which continues June 12th with additional story content inspired by Solo, a Star Wars story. With these updates in place, we're confident that there has never been a better time to play Star Wars Battlefront 2, and there's more to come. To our passionate Battlefront community, we've heard you. You've asked for more Clone Wars content."
More Clone Wars? There's no Clone Wars content. You've asked for Clone Wars content, not more.
There's Clone Wars content.
Oh yeah, you mean those little wannabe stormtroopers that are running around?
On Camino? Yeah.
No. Boo. We want actual. Everyone know episode 2 was the worst.
And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
You ask for new ways to play the game. You ask for more frequent and transparent communication from us. They've been great about communication. You can't crap on them about that, Sam.
But I can find a way.
So we'd like to share what's ahead for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Clone Wars content is coming to Star Wars Battlefront 2. At EA Play, we announced that we are going to expand Star Wars Battlefront 2 with new content from the Clone Wars era, starting this fall with monthly updates. One of the major theaters of war in the Star Wars prequel era, Geonosis, is coming as a new location to play and explore, plus 2 of the most highly requested hero characters, Obi-Wan Kenobi and General Grievous. Hello there. And they will not come alone. Joining them is the Sith Lord and leader of the Separatists, Count Dooku, as well as Anakin Skywalker. More details on the upcoming Clone Wars content will be shared in the coming months.
They better be adding a Coliseum mode. Huh? What the heck? That'd be so amazing. Have like 500 Jedi versus the Geonosian guys.
How would that work?
Okay, so you can pick say however many Jedi there are. You pick those versus a crap ton of Geonosians. 25 Geonosians versus 5 Jedi.
A 30-player game mode?
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be cool. But we're not getting that. We're getting something else, and we'll get into that in a second. The road ahead and improving transparency. Ahead of the Clone Wars content drops, we're still committed to delivering regular updates, events, and fixes to Star Wars Battlefront 2. This will include quality of life updates and new ways to play the game. Coming in July is a new Starfighter mode focused on piloting hero ships. Starfighter Hero Showdown. We're pleased with the positive response we've had on this season's Hero Showdown and believe players will appreciate the similar, more focused approach to Hero Starfighter Assault. Here, players will spawn as one of their available heroes. If taken out, you'll re-enter the game as a normal fighter, bomber, or interceptor. To win the game, your team of 4 needs to take out all enemy starfighters. And later this year, we'll introduce a non-linear, larger scale mode where players battle for control of objectives around the map. We're also bringing changes to how squads will work, including spawning on squad mates. This is just the start.
Yeah, we all know we're getting a conquest mode.
Conquest all the way, and it's going to be the biggest map in the game. In an effort to improve upon our transparency, we're going to provide a more detailed roadmap on what's ahead for Star Wars Battlefront 2. We'll be able to share this with you after we've rounded up the Han Solo season in the end of June. So we're getting a roadmap at the end of this month.
Finally.
What do you think of all this content, Sam?
The new content or the crappy old content?
The new content that will be coming.
Finally, they're recognizing the roots of the Battlefront franchise and bringing Conquest in. That's what we wanted from the beginning of 2015 Battlefront. It's such an amazing game mode. And we're finally getting prequel era, and I'm totally fine with Geonosis as the starting map. What about you, Sage?
I love all of it. I would have been happy if they just gave me General Grievous. As soon as they announced prequel content in the game, that was my first choice. I've got General Grievous on my phone lock screen.
Oh yeah. So excited for finally with what they're giving us what we asked for.
Yes. How do you feel about the Han Solo season, knowing this is going to be coming this fall?
I still don't really agree with what they've done so far in the game's life. I mean, I've had fun with the game. I think Hero Showdown, Ewok Hunt are the highlights of this new wave of content. I actually like the base game, when it was released.
And what you're saying about earlier about there not being a new game mode in the Han Solo season, technically there was. And it was called Hero Showdown.
But guess what? It's just they're just cutting in half heroes versus villains. Well, anyway, now that Anakin's here, we can finally have an Anakin versus Youngling game mode.
Anakin Hunt? Youngling Hunt.
Youngling Hunt.
You
have to go find all the younglings hiding.
And it'll be on Coruscant.
Be on Coruscant.
Coruscant.
Oh, yeah. You better hide yo younglings.
Hide your wife, No, Anakin's already got the hide your wife thing. Because he's been hiding Padme and his whole marriage away. Now it's time to hide your younglings. Cause
you know how Ewok Hunt, the stormtroopers are hiding, trying to get picked up. This one's going to be Anakin looking on the hunt. Younglings can see in the dark. Anakin can't. He has to use the light of his blue lightsaber to find them.
Younglings have no weapons.
They have little lightsabers.
I'm just saying it'd be more interesting if they had no weapons and there was just a hide and seek game mode.
And then they're trying to wait for Padme to pick them up.
Yeah. You killed younglings?
Next, we're going to be getting the Anakin Hunt version 2, where he has to kill all of the Tusken Raiders
on his favorite planet full of sand.
Yeah, but this one's not going to be a hunt really. It's going to be like how fast you can kill all the Tusken Raiders.
A wave-based game mode.
Yeah, but the new wave of the content, looking forward to it. I think it's going to get the game to where we want it. I mean, still, Battlefront's having controversy with all of the ports and stuff. I understand the controversy, and I voiced my opinions this episode.
You mean your controversy?
Yeah, but still, it's a controversial subject.
Porting of content is very controversial because Ben Walk did a poll on Twitter of all of his followers, and it was, do you want us to bring over content from the past game, or do you want us to work on new content? It was 50-50.
50-50?
50-50.
But the thing is, the only reason I'm mad is because they've had 6 months. Even if you revamp the progression system, it still leaves you with some time to develop something new. That's the only reason I'm angry. I'm fine with I'm fine with the content they've given us so far as, just a tie over for the Clone Wars stuff I've been waiting for.
I think your main thing is you were from their marketing as the Han Solo season, where they marketed as a season.
A season,
which we've been led to believe with the previous one season that we've had, it would bring 2 heroes, 1 villain, 1 hero.
I'm fine with not even having heroes and villains. I want some substance in the game modes.
Well, even we have no precedence on that, because the Last Jedi season didn't bring a game mode. It brought a map.
It basically did. It had a rendition of Galactic Assault.
Mm-hmm. That's more of a remix, though.
But
and
it
plus,
had different objectives.
I remember when The Last Jedi came out, and we were talking about it, and
it's more of a game mode. It's more of a new game mode than Extraction.
You argued with me about whether you said it was not a new game mode.
By now I have something to compare it with. Extraction's
a new game mode to Battlefront 2.
No, it's not a new game mode to the Battlefront franchise.
No, it's not.
And Galactic Assault was new to this game, so you can't say it's a port, which gives it the edge.
Well, right now you can't even play on Crate because they're having issues. It's been removed from the rotation.
Make it Crate again.
But as we go forward and get more details at the end of the month, we're going to be having actual roadmap that we can actually base what the season will be.
But now that we've got our opinions out of the way of the past, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. I'm ready to kill the Han Solo season and forget about it and move on to discussing possibilities for the Clone Wars. Will this be the end of the Clone Wars age? Will we have to go through another crappy wave of sequel trilogy and original trilogy just to get back to the Clone Wars?
You're already looking past season 3.
Yes,
and it hasn't even. We don't even know all the full details.
Yeah,
we know what's coming in the season. We know the map. We know the heroes.
I'm looking forward to next episode where we'll talk about hero abilities possibly that's coming with them.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about it in the past, but now we know they're coming finally. And here soon we're gonna get some more information at next month possibly, because he said at the end of June they're wrapping up Solo season.
Yes. So we will see how that goes. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the Clone Wars season will be the revamp for the game, and hopefully it continues into 2019, because this fall will be the prequel season, the Clone Wars season. I hope they don't end on that. I'd be really sad if, after all of the struggles, because it doesn't even feel like Battlefront has even fully launched yet. It feels like they've just been fixing thing after thing and working on it and just doing new things, that we haven't actually had a full experience for the game and just a fresh start. So I hope it to be continued into 2019, and maybe late 2019 we get an announcement for the next Battlefront game possibly coming out in 2020. That's my hopes.
Because I'm not like knocking Battlefront. I just want it to succeed so we get more Battlefront games. Because if it keeps on with the pace that it's going, they're just going to end the franchise. We need this kickstart to start the game back. And same with Ewok Hunt. They brought a bunch of new players in,
mm-hmm.
and that was just a tiny little game mode. Imagine how much people will come in after they release something as big as this in the game.
Well, I already see new people at like rank 2 in the lobbies. A lot of the players that I go against are those lower levels, just from the Han Solo season content.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the game, obviously you're going to check in, see what's new. I mean, if you didn't play Battlefront 2015, this is new stuff for you.
Yeah. Also, the game's been on sale very cheap recently, $20, under $20 actually.
Yeah.
Most time it's $18.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, though. First off, it gets new players in, but then again, once a game has committed to marking themselves down, kind of know it's going down too. Because look at Nintendo games. They stay at $60 forever.
That's because they're Nintendo. So it's going to be interesting going forward, and to see what they do, how they continue to make the game better and bring more content, because they said they're going to continue those monthly updates. They're going to continue bringing content. They're going to continue keeping up the game after the base of the Clone Wars season has launched. But I think that's all for this episode. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. You went from I hate this game to I love this game to I'm really looking forward to the next thing that's going to be happening.
That's why we have therapy, Sage.
This is your therapy?
We work through this.
So is that what the Battlefront podcast is? It's your therapy?
Yeah, this whole podcast is about me and solving my mental state.
Okay. I thought it was about Battlefront.
No, it's about that. Yeah, well, anyway, guys, I'm not hating on the game. I love the game. I just want it to succeed. I'm like its father. I don't want the game to be, I know the capabilities of it. I know it's so much potential. I want it to go to college. I want it to get a good degree so it can get a good job. But it's not doing that so far. Yeah, it's being a bum on his mom's basement, and I'm just trying to push it to go to college, man. Get a degree. To go to trade school. Do something.
Oh, my gosh. That's all for this episode.
Thanks for listening.
I've been your host, Sage Goodwin.
I'm Sam Goodwin.
You can follow us on Twitter at SWB Podcast.
Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/The Star Wars Battlefront Podcast.
And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Battlefront Podcast, or on PayPal, paypal.me/TieDyeSheep, TYEDYESHEEP. Shout out to Daniel Schilling. Great friend of the podcast. He had a surgery in his hand, so he can't actually play the game. But he's been catching up on game news. Next episode, we'll talk about hero possibilities and the pricing for those.
Yeah, let's just hope the handhelds before the Clone Wars season comes out.
Definitely.
Because you're not missing out on anything right now.
So shout out to him. Been supporting us on PayPal. Great guy. You can also support us completely free by leaving us a review on iTunes, and that helps us out a ton. It helps other listeners see that the show is good, and it also helps us out by giving us feedback on the show, and also lets iTunes know that people are enjoying the show and puts it up higher in the search engine on iTunes. So it's a great way to help us out in all sorts of ways. Our Discord is a great place to hang out and talk Battlefront. And you can email us, battlefrontpodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. As always,
thanks for listening.
And may the Force be with you. We were on the Hando bandwagon before there was even a bandwagon. There's
a hand wagon.
A hand wagon?
A Lando wagon.
We were doing hashtag Hondo when Battlefront 2015 came out.
Yeah.